Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Continuation with the character development series that I've been doing. Today I'm going to talk about Michonne. Again, it's going to be TV show Michonne and not comic book Michonne because they're quite different. Now, something that I kind of found interesting before I even started was Michonne's surname or her last name is never mentioned. Like every other character has a last name, but Michonne's is just never brought up. I think we need to start a petition or something to get Michonne a last name. Anyway, we first see Michonne at the end of season 2, kind of start to season 3, when all the group on the farm gets split up. Andrea goes off by herself and is kind of in a tough predicament when Michonne comes along and saves her. We then see the two women go off on their own into the wilderness. Andrea gets really sick, she's coughing all over the place, she's not well at all. We see Michonne is keeping her in kind of like a, I think it's like a shop, it's like a storeroom or a stock room or something in the back of a shop. Because Andrea, because she is sick, is just using up all their supplies, all their water and all their medicine and stuff like that. But Michonne refuses to leave her and they take off into a field with two walkers on a chain. These two walkers kind of became referred to as Michonne's pets. She very cleverly cut off their arms so they couldn't scratch her, broke off their fucking jaw and their teeth so they couldn't bite her, and tags them along on two chains. They kind of cloak the smell of human from other walkers. Then the two women stumble across a crashed helicopter and of course they just go to investigate. And up comes the governor and all of his crew. Michonne and Andrea hide in the bushes because they don't want to be seen because they don't know if this guy is a threat or not. But then Merle pops up out of fucking nowhere and the two women are transported back to Woodbury. The next we see them, they're in an infirmary in Woodbury. Woodbury is like this safe town. And the governor, or also known as Philip, tells the two women that they don't need weapons here, that it's safe here, that they have supplies, they can take a shower, they can do all the cool shit that you could do before the apocalypse. Michonne is kind of alarmed at the fact that their weapons were taken off them. She's not happy at all. She wants her katana back, but the governor is like, well, you can have it back tomorrow. All that fake niceness. So Michonne doesn't trust the governor at all. She is a great bullshit detector. Then we see Michonne getting ready to leave and she asks Andrea to come with her, but when they get to the gate, Andrea doesn't go with Michonne. Michonne has to go by herself. And she says to her, well, you just hold me back anyway. And I think that was Michonne's way of lashing out of frustration and out of hurt, because Michonne had nursed Andrea back to health. She'd minded her, she'd stayed by her side, and they didn't even know each other before all this went down. Like when Michonne saved Andrea out in the woods and when she looked after her when she was sick, she just did it out of the goodness of her heart. And now that Michonne was telling Andrea, look, you can't trust this place, it's dangerous, come with me, I think she expected Andrea to believe her and to just hear her out, and she didn't. So Michonne goes off by herself and Andrea stays with the governor. When Michonne is just walking around, she sees Merle take Glenn and Maggie captive, and she also notices that Glenn and Maggie have been picking up like a little basket of baby formula. So through hearing the kind of snippets of the conversation, she pieces together, where the prison is, that there's a baby there, the group is there, so she picks up the baby formula after Glenn and Maggie have been taken and she heads to the prison. She's standing outside the gates waiting to be let in, and Carl sees her. She then passes out, but they bring her inside. So to keep her separated from the rest of the group, they keep like one of the doors locked so she can't get into them. Because of course, to the group, she's a stranger, and the group, they're all strange to her as well. Like in the situation, nobody knows each other properly yet. So it probably is for the best that everyone just stays the fuck away from each other. So then Michonne agrees to go back to Woodbury with Daryl and Rick to get Glenn and Maggie. Now the only reason she's doing this is she has her own little agenda. While they're there, she sneaks off by herself, goes up to the governor's private office and discovers Penny. Penny is a fucking reanimated corpse of the governor's daughter. He'd been keeping her in the wall in behind a secret fucking door, and every now and again he brings her out to brush her hair. So Michonne discovers Penny and is about to kill her when the governor walks in, and he's pleading with her. He's like, please don't kill her, even though she's already fucking dead. Michonne anyways having none of it, she kills Penny, and then the governor comes running at her, fuming. Michonne ends up popping out his eyeball with her sword. The governor then is wriggling around in pain, missing an eye, and Andrea comes in. Andrea takes the governor's side and kind of stands between Michonne and the governor, and this is like a wake-up call for Michonne. Like I said before, Michonne and Andrea were really close. Michonne was the reason that Andrea was still alive, and even though Michonne had never kind of said, you owe me, she at least had earned her respect and her trust, but Andrea just threw it back in her fucking face. And to be honest, in my opinion, I think Andrea was a little bit ungrateful. Michonne had fucking kept her alive, and then just because some tall, dark, handsome Mr. fucking Philip comes on the scene, Andrea just turns her back on her friend. I didn't really like that, but anyway. Michonne isn't willing to kill or hurt Andrea to get to the governor, so Michonne leaves. Later on then, when they're at the prison and the fucking walkers get let loose into the fields, Michonne helps to rescue Herschel. This shows that she's starting to become part of the team, she's starting to understand what's important in the group, and she's starting to kind of click with them. Merle is now at the prison, he's left Woodbury and he's at the prison with the rest of the group. And we see Merle try to tell Michonne, like, oh, I hope we can get over this, we can get past this. Michonne is just looking at him like, really? Bitch, really? Then Andrea comes to the prison to try and smooth things over to prevent a fight breaking out between Rick and the governor. Andrea is like shocked to learn that the group don't really like her anymore because she's a fucking traitor. They're quite hostile towards her, and I was like, yeah, well fucking duh. Andrea arrives all like, I didn't know, like what? I'm doing my best. But she gets mad at Michonne because she thinks Michonne has been bad-mouthing her. Then we have the scene where Michonne goes on a run with Rick and Carl. Now Morgan, at this point of the show, has gone fucking mental. He has like a whole street booby-trapped. He's staying in like an apartment by himself. He is really defensive, he's really hostile, he's lost the plot really. Then Carl wants to go off by himself because he says something about getting some kind of equipment for Judith, like a crib or something. And Michonne says that she'll go with him. So while they're out together, Michonne kind of knows, you're not looking for a crib when they pass like a baby store. It turns out he wants to get a family photo of himself, Laurie and Rick. Now Michonne, instead of telling him, oh that's childish, like, come on, you can't do that, it's dangerous, she goes in and she helps him. She helps distract the walkers, she gets the picture for him. This kind of shows the relationship start to build between Carl and Michonne. At one point in the show, a bit earlier back, Carl had said to Rick, like, why is she here, what's going on? But Michonne now is starting to kind of prove herself to everyone, and people are slowly starting to like her. And I think this was the first scene where Carl properly respected her and looked at her differently. Then we get to see the flashback where we see Michonne in like a nice little apartment. She's talking to her son Andre, and I think his name was Mike. I can't really remember though, but she had a boyfriend and her boyfriend's friend was there as well. So then we get a bit of backstory to Michonne. We learn that she had a boyfriend, she had friends, she had a kid. So then Rick goes off and meets with the governor, and the governor is like, I just want Michonne because, hello, she fucking killed my zombie daughter and then cut out my eyeball. So Rick is contemplating giving Michonne over to the governor to try and smooth everything out. Merle gets wind of it and knows that Rick will not go through with it, so Merle takes Michonne. They're in a car on the way to meet the governor, and Michonne is kind of talking to Merle, and she's like, well, at least I'm going to die, I won't have to live with myself, you will, we can go back. Merle in the end pulls over and lets her out, and I think this was such an important scene for Merle. Everyone hated Merle and everyone said he was such a bad guy. He was a bit of a prick, he wasn't a very nice person, but that end scene for him, one of the last scenes he was in, it was so important. He just fucking let her go. He just opened the door and let her go. Like Rick, he couldn't give her over either, and Merle was supposed to be like a bad guy. So then she goes back to the prison, all of that kind of blows over. Poor Merle gets killed, and Rick has a talk with Michonne, and she forgives him for contemplating handing her over to the governor. That confused me. If that was me and I was staying in a prison with a group of people that were going to hand me over to a fucking maniac, number one, I wouldn't have gone back to the prison. Number two, if I did go back, I'd have been all guns blazing, or I would have been very pissed off. And three, I would have been like, it's okay, Rick. You know, I forgive you. I'd have been like, bitch, you tried to have me killed. What? Then they get to Woodbury and they discover that poor Andrea has been bitten. She is dying. There is no hope for her. Michonne sits down on the floor and stays with her until the bitter end. She doesn't leave her. After everything that happened with the governor, after all the kind of bitterness that had happened, Michonne still cared for her very deeply. And we see Michonne cry in the scene, we see her get so emotional, but she stays. Season 4 then, we see things start to change for Michonne. The governor has kind of fucked away out of it, he hasn't been heard from in a while. But Michonne and Darla are still kind of keeping an eye out for him, they're still kind of searching. But at the start of season 4, we see Michonne ride into the prison on a horse, where Rick and Carl say, you know, we're happy to see you, it's good you're back. She gives Carl some comics that she'd found. Obviously she struck up a bit of a relationship with him. And then she makes a joke about Rick's facial hair losing the war. I loved that because I was like, kind of agree, yeah. But the fact that they'd gone from such kind of hostile, standoffish characters when they interacted to, like, they can make jokes about each other and they're so at ease around each other. It shows how well she's just fit in with everyone. There's some funny little one-liners as well with Michonne in season 4, like when the sickness breaks out of the prison and Michonne says she's going to go on a run with Darryl to get medicine. Herschel says, like, he's been exposed, you have to be careful about Daryl. And Michonne says, well, he's already given me fleas. I loved that. I thought that was fucking hilarious. After they go on the run then, and Bob is stealing the alcohol, Michonne then tells Daryl that he's kind of right, and that she's going to stop looking for the governor and she's just going to take it easy. Then, God help us, she's captured with Herschel and we have the whole standoff on the field. Herschel's beheaded right beside her. We see Michonne crying, get emotional, duh, because somebody has just been fucking beheaded beside her. Then the governor gets into a fight with Rick, and for a minute it's kind of like, is he gonna win? Is the governor gonna win? But Michonne stabs Philip in the chest. Fuck you, you're gonna become a walker. That's what you get, Philip. And then she goes and she stabs Herschel's head because Herschel had turned into a walker, God help us. Then everyone gets split up and Michonne is by herself, and we see Michonne walk into a herd. She has the walkers on a chain with her. They're new walkers on a chain. We see Michonne walk into a herd, and she turns around and she looks at a woman and she sees herself kind of zombified. I think that was kind of, she'd been feeling sorry for herself, she'd been feeling so bad. But in that moment she realised that things could have been so much worse. She could have been dead, she could have been mindlessly stumbling along. But at the same time, it showed how lonely she was because she wasn't with the group. They'd been split up. And she might as well have been a walker because she was walking in a herd, undetected. Nobody there with her except for the dead. So she goes mad and she kills an entire herd by herself. But then, thank God, she comes across Rick and Carl and she's like knocking on the door, and Rick turns to Carl and he goes, I think it's for you. I was so happy, I was like, yes! Then we see her go off with Carl again by herself. We see her do the thing with the string cheese where she puts a load of string cheese in her mouth and she tries to make him laugh. And then she tells him, you know, I'm better with toddlers, because Carl at this stage is a brooding teenager. And this is actually where they get to the house where Michonne tells Carl that he can ask one question per room. She goes into a room and she sees it was like a kid's room and there was a whole family that had killed themselves in there. She seemed really disturbed by the fact because there was children there. But instead of freaking Carl out, she comes back out and she closes the door, and when Carl is like, is there people in there? Is there like kids in there? Michonne knows that Carl is still really tender over the fact Judith has disappeared. They all think that Judith is dead at this stage, so she lies to him and she tells him, no, it was a dog. But then it's when she plays the game with Carl and she lets him ask one question per room that we learn through flashbacks and through kind of snippets of what she says, that they were in like a safe place, or they were in like a camp, I think, and her boyfriend and her boyfriend's friend got high. A walker herd attacked the place and Michonne wasn't there. Michonne was like on a run, or she was out somewhere else. So because the two lads were high, they couldn't protect Andre, so Michonne's son ended up getting killed, and then Mike and his friend become the two pets that Michonne keeps. Out of kind of like anger, out of like a punishment, she cut off their arms, broke their jaw, let them turn, and then brought them around with her. And this as well would explain why the scene where she killed her two walker pets was so impactful. Back when they came across the helicopter in the field and they first met the governor, Michonne's two pets were like chained up against a wall and they were kind of making weird noises, so she had to behead them and kill them. Now that seems like it meant a lot to Michonne, and you're kind of there like, why? They're just walkers, but now we know why. Then they are on the road with Rick after Rick has the run-in with the fucking, what are they called, the claimed group. They're on the road and we see Michonne having a competition as to who can stay on the train tracks the longest, because they're now on the road to Terminus. Then Joe comes along with the claimed group and shit goes down. They threaten to rape and kill Michonne and Carl. Honestly, both of them look terrified at this stage. Michonne has a tough exterior, but you can tell that she is frightened. Same with Carl. But, you know, Rick comes through and bites out Joe's throat, and then Michonne does some fucking ninja shit and ends up killing a few of them as well. But she leaves the guy that threatened to rape them to Rick. So Rick is like, he's mine. And we see Michonne holding Carl with her hands on his head, like holding her close to him, protecting him, while Rick goes to town and kills this fucking fella. Later on in that night we see her and Carl in the back of the car and she's stroking his hair, trying to get him to go to sleep. And it's like, that was the scene for me that cemented Michonne and Carl's relationship. Carl had lost her mother. He hadn't liked Michonne when she first came along, but now in that moment we saw a woman that had lost her son too early and a little boy that had lost his mother. So the two of them, it just fit. Then when they get to Terminus and Michonne is checking out Terminus, we see her telling the story of how her pets had come to be and how Andrea had died. And she admits that the group had made her feel alive again. Because as human beings there comes a stage where something is just too much for you to bear, and it's almost like your emotions kind of turn off, or you go numb to everything. And Michonne admits that this was what happened to her, but that the group had kind of breathed a new life into her, that they had kind of woken her up again and almost given her something to fight for. Then they're all put into the boxcar at Terminus, and we see Michonne then make a fucking double-ended katana, because when they get to Terminus all their weapons are taken off them and they're all put into this fucking box. They have no weapons, so they need to fight their way out, and she makes a double-ended fucking sword. So it's like a big stick with like a fucking blade on either side. I was like, that shit is cool. I think that's cooler than your normal fucking sword. Then move a little bit into season 5, after they get out of Terminus and they're at Father Gabriel's church. They are preparing to get ready for Gareth and his fucking crew when they arrive, because, you know, they're on their way. Those motherfuckers are relentless. You gotta admire their fucking determination though. I mean, they must really be hungry. They eat people. You know, they have boxes full of people at fucking Terminus, but, you know, one box of people escapes and Gareth is like, oh, they're the motherfuckers I want. Let's go after them. With the fucking salt and pepper shaker following them. But Michonne takes part then in the killing of those motherfuckers in the church, and we see her have a little conversation with Father Gabriel. Father Gabriel tells her that he can't believe what's just happened, he can't sleep, he can't get over it, and she tells him, well, that will never really go away, but it does get easier. This gives a little insight as to how Michonne deals with things. That was her way of saying, well, yeah, I'm the same too. I mean, I have trouble sleeping, I have trouble dealing with everything that I've done, and it'll never leave you. You can never take back what has happened or what you've done or what you've seen, but it just gets easier. Maggie and Glenn go off with Gabriel. Then Maggie and Glenn go off with Eugene and his crew to go to Washington to deal with the cure thing. Rick and the rest of them go off to try and save Carol, because Darryl came back and was like, well, Carol's missing, I need your help, she's been taken by these crazy fucking hospital people. So they all go out after her. So Michonne stays in the church with Father Gabriel, Judith and Carl. Now when they're in the church, Father Gabriel is in the back room cutting his way through the floor. And Carl and Michonne were completely unaware of this, because they're safe in a church. They had the door boarded up. They had like big fucking spikes sticking out of the floor in front of the door so walkers couldn't get in. So they didn't know that Father Gabriel was devising a way out. So Father Gabriel drops down from the floor and like gets out from underneath the church. While he's outside, he realises, well, I cannot do this. So he loops back around to the front door of the church and starts screaming to be let in. Now, if I was Michonne, I'd like to say I would have done what she did and, you know, break open the door to let him in. But there's the part of you that'd be like, Gabriel, you stupid fuck, you shouldn't have crawled through the floor. But Michonne and Carl break open the door, let Father Gabriel in, but then all the walkers get in. But Michonne, Carl, Judith and Father Gabriel all escape from the church using the hatch that Father Gabriel had made. Glenn, Maggie and Eugene, Abraham, all them, they all come back in a big fire truck and they help kill all the walkers that are around the church. Michonne then tells Maggie about Rick and Darryl, all them going off to find Carol, and that Beth was alive. They all get to the hospital, they see Beth being carried out, we see Michonne get emotional, we see everybody in that scene get emotional. I was emotional, I was crying like a little fucking baby. Like, Beth, why do you have to die? So then they're planning on what they're doing next, and the plan is put out there that they're going to go to Noah's home, because that's kind of what Beth would have wanted. Noah still believes his family is alive. So then Glenn says, well, what if they're all dead, what if they're not there anymore? And Michonne kind of turned around and says, well, then we'll find like a new place. That shows Michonne's positivity, even if she doesn't believe it herself, because everything has gone to shit so far, but Michonne is still trying to stay positive. She's still kind of saying we'll find a way around it no matter what happens. So they arrive on to Noah's neighbourhood and everyone kind of goes off exploring the place. Rick goes off with Michonne and then they hear screaming. Turns out poor Tyreese has been bitten. Because Noah neglected to mention the fact that he had fucking twin brothers. There was two little fucking freaky walkers lurking around the house. Tyreese only fucking saw one, there was two. So then Michonne comes in and she cuts off Tyrese's arm with her katana to try to stop the infection from spreading, but of course it was too late and poor Tyreese died. I loved Tyreese so much. After they leave that place, they've hardly any food, they've hardly any water, they're running low on hope, they have nothing. So we see them all line up along a bridge, and instead of killing the walkers, they just kinda shove them off the edge of the cliff. I thought that was so cool. It took very little supplies, it took very little effort, and it was such a good plan. But then we see Sasha get a little bit too fucking handy with her knife and get a little bit into it. So Michonne tells her, like, calm the fuck down. And then Sasha doesn't, she keeps lashing out at the walkers. You know, because Bob died, he was her boyfriend, and then Tyreese died, he was her brother. If I was Sasha, I wouldn't blame her. I'd have been jumping up on walkers' backs, ripping their heads off with my bare hands out of frustration and anger. Then they find supplies that are just conveniently left on the road for them, which nobody trusts, and I understand that. I'd have been like, I'm not going near that shit. And then they all go into a barn, and there's that really bad storm scene, which was probably my favourite scene of all time in any episode of The Walking Dead. A really bad storm hits and the doors start blowing open. Everybody who had been asleep and lying down, everyone got up and grouped together to help keep the doors closed. Everybody just pressed up against the door. It was a group effort. And then the next morning when everyone wakes up, it shows you them all lying on the floor sleeping, and it was just lovely. So then when Aaron arrives into the barn the following day, Aaron's like, we have a safe place, I'll show you pictures, it's called Alexandria, it's really lovely. Then they get to Alexandria and all is good. It is a real place. It is not Woodbury 2.0 or Terminus 2.0. It is actually a really nice place. They all have to leave their weapons at the door because for some reason in every fucking safe community in the show, everyone has this thing about weapons. They're like, leave them at the door. What good has that ever done anybody? It fucking hasn't done anyone any good ever. Everyone should be allowed to keep their fucking weapons in case a walker herd attacks or some shit. Leave your weapons at the door, you know, it's safer. No, it isn't. And if people in the community want to fight, want to kill each other, they're gonna find a way to do it without using fucking guns or shit. You know, they could use a kitchen knife, they could fucking push someone down the stairs. So that whole leave your weapons at the door, that doesn't fly with me. But anyway, the group agreed to it. And then Michonne and Rick are given the jobs of being constables or cops. Everybody in Alexandria gets a job to do, and Michonne and Rick end up being guards to get the fancy little guard uniforms and everything. Then there's that party thrown for them. It's like a welcome to Alexandria party. Abraham gets a bit drunk and ends up talking to Michonne, and Michonne says to him, like, even though my katana isn't with me, it's still on my back. I think this meant two things. One, that even though her weapon isn't like physically with her because it's hanging up in her house, it's still there. Like, she's still a survivor, she's still ready to kick straight back into action if anything happens. It'll never leave her. But at the same time, I think it means that all the damage that she has done with the knife, all the damage that she has done in the past rests on her back. It's on her shoulders. Like, she's never going to get over it. She's never going to be able to forget the things that she's done. Then Rosita and Michonne go outside the walls looking for Sasha, and Michonne confides that it feels like she's been asleep the entire time that she was in Alexandria. Now this I understood as well, because Michonne, much like Daryl, they're not really used to being kind of playing, you know, like Susie Homemaker, like Carol is. Like, Carol can do that, Carol can blend in and do that, but Michonne is kind of like Daryl in a way that she can't pretend to be that kind of person. And since she entered Alexandria, it feels like she hasn't been herself. So then Sasha goes mad. When they do finally meet Sasha, she goes mad and starts killing a load of walkers, and she's doing like walker killing training or something, and Michonne comes up and joins her, and Sasha kind of gets ratty and is like, I can handle it. Michonne tells her, I'm not doing it for you. And we see Michonne getting out her frustration and anger at everything that has happened on the walkers. Then we have the scene where Rick and Pete get into a fight on the street, and Michonne comes out of nowhere and knocks Rick out. I think this was her protecting him, because Rick was just babbling on about all kinds of crazy fucking shit, and everyone was looking at him stunned, not knowing what to do. So Michonne was like, okay, I need to fucking stop him. So she just knocked him out, but she was there when he woke up the next morning as well, and she told him that everyone in Alexandria were going to call a group meeting. They were going to try and figure out what to do with Rick, but then she tells him, I'll be on your side no matter what. And I loved that scene. I loved that scene so much, because even though Rick was at a pretty low point, you know, mentally he was kind of all over the place. He was struggling with fitting in, he was struggling with acting accordingly. Michonne still told him, like, even though we have this great place, you know, and everything's great, I'll still side with you no matter what happens. Then Pete turns up to the fucking town meeting with Michonne's katana. Michonne did not look happy about that. She was like, get your fucking hands off my knife. But after the meeting happens, and after Pete is killed, and after all that goes down, when that's over and Michonne goes back to her house, we see her go to hang the knife back up on the wall, but she stops and instead she hangs it over her back. So I think that's Michonne realising we can have a nice life, but not to the extent that, like, weapons are almost like pretty things to look at, like that you can display them. That she was like, I need to have it with me. It was like her picking back up the sword was like a representation of the show beginning to gear up and go into what it was to become. Am I even making sense at the moment? So in season 6, at the start of it, we see her helping try to lower the walker herd away from the outside of Alexandria, but then they hear the horn, so Michonne rushes back to Alexandria, or she tries to rush back. She's with a group of people from Alexandria and a few others, and a fella called David ends up getting bit. They get cornered in a pet store and they're trying to devise a way out. Heath then gets into an argument with Michonne because Michonne had a conversation with Rick earlier, and Rick had told her, like, just leave people behind, don't risk your life. So she had told David that she was going to help get him back home, but Heath was watching the whole thing play out, knowing what she had said to Rick. So Heath kind of said that to her, and he was like, I know what you said, you know, and all that. And Michonne then defends Rick, and she tells Heath, you don't know what it's like outside the walls, you've only been on runs, you haven't had to survive out there. And then she gives a great mental image where she says, you've never been covered in so much blood that, like, you don't know what blood is yours, your friends, or like walkers. And I think that is a wake-up call for Heath. The Heath is like, okay, these people do know what they're doing. I mean, they're questionable, but they do know what's right. So then they're running, they leave the pet shop and they're running, and they come to a fence. Heath helps Michonne over, but poor David gets eaten. He never gets to say goodbye to his wife. When they get back to Alexandria, Michonne tells Maggie that Glenn was with them in the pet shop, and that Glenn had planned to set fire to a building to kind of lure the walkers away, to be a distraction that they could get out, but Glenn never did. So Michonne then is telling Maggie, so something clearly went wrong. So then Michonne is talking things over with Rick. They're trying to devise plans for stuff that's happening, and Deanna comes in with like blueprints to Alexandria, and she's like, we were thinking of expanding. So Rick is like, we have enough going on, thank you. But Michonne takes the plans and thanks Deanna, and is like, yeah, we'll look over them. This shows what a decent person that Michonne is. If that was me, I'd be like, Deanna, honey, keep the fucking blueprints, we have better things going on at the moment. But Michonne was a lovely person and took them and was very polite about the whole thing. Because Deanna and Michonne kind of struck up a very strange kind of friendship that was really interesting to watch on screen. And we see this a little bit when Deanna gets bitten, like the wolves and walkers and shit attack Alexandria, and poor Deanna gets bit. We see Rick and Michonne bring Deanna upstairs to a bed and they lay her down. And then we see Michonne asking her about the expansion, and Deanna starts kind of questioning Michonne, asking her, like, does she know what she wants, does she know what she's here for, and stuff like that. I think those kind of questions, those kind of deep, thought-provoking questions, they really get to Michonne, because this world had been all about survival. It had been about just stay alive, just keep going. So I think Deanna, in her last moments, as she was dying, asking Michonne, like, to kind of sort out her life and to get what she wants out of things, I think that was a wake-up call for Michonne. And I think seeing a woman that Michonne had respected so well and gotten along with so well, seeing her die and be taken away, seeing such a powerful woman just fucking die, it was such a reality check for Michonne. That this was another person that Michonne had outlived. That that's what Michonne had been accustomed to all along, just surviving, instead of actually living. Then we have the scene where they're all out on the road, they're covered in walker guts and they're trying to get through the herd. Poor Sam decides to be a fucking moron and starts calling his mother in the middle of a herd. He's like, Mom. Sam gets eaten. Jessie, his mother, goes down with him and gets eaten. And then Ron, who was Sam's brother, decides to take us out on Rick and blames Rick and goes to shoot Rick, but Michonne comes along and kills Ron. I was like, that was kind of fucking harsh, but necessary, I guess. But the damage was done. Ron then had aimed his gun at Rick, but accidentally had shot Carl instead. Carl then got a makeover in the style of the governor and got his eyeball blown out. But we see them all rush Carl to Denise's house because Denise is a doctor. And Michonne tells Denise that she has to get back out there. She has to go back out and kind of try and sort the walker problem. We see her kiss Carl on the head before leaving to go out and deal with the walkers. It fast forwards then a little bit in time, and we see Rick get up out of bed in the morning. He's putting on like his stuff, like his fucking watch or something. We see Carl in the house as well, and then we see Michonne come out of nowhere and ask Rick to get toothpaste on their run. So Michonne lives in the same house as Carl and Rick. Then Rick and Darryl go out on a run, and while they're off meeting Jesus, Michonne follows Spencer into the woods. She sees Spencer go off, so she follows him. And it turns out that he's trying to find his mother. He's trying to find Deanna to kill her. And Michonne holds her head steady so Spencer can kill his mother, or the zombie version of his mother. I think this hit a chord with Michonne as well, because, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the TV show, we never saw Michonne kill her son. We know that Andre was killed, that he didn't make it, but we don't know if he turned into a walker or not. We don't know how he ended. We don't know if Michonne had to put her son down. So her watching Spencer deal with such a strong loss really struck a chord with Michonne, and she could relate to it, and she helped him. Then Rick gets back from his run. Michonne gets back from helping Spencer. They both meet up, rendezvous back at their house. And Rick has had a tough day, Michonne has had a tough day. They're both just lying on the couch like, what's life? So then Rick gives her mint instead of toothpaste. I'd have been like, bitch, that's no good. Like, that's no good. But Michonne seemed happy with it. And then we see them kiss. Now, they were the two characters that I'd wanted to get together so much because, like Glenn and Maggie, they were such an equal pairing. Dynamic-wise, strength-wise, emotional-wise. The people they'd lost, what they needed from life. They just clicked so well. So when they kissed, I was like, yes! So then the two of them wake up the next morning and they see Jesus standing in the doorway just waiting for them to wake up. And he's like, we should talk. Like, was that really the best time? Just walk into someone's bedroom and stand over them while they're naked and asleep. But they get up and they talk to him and they put on clothes before they do all this. And they talk to him and they hear him out about Hilltop. So they all decide to go to Hilltop to make sure that he's telling the truth. When they get to Hilltop, it turns out that he is telling the truth. And that they could kind of do trade with Hilltop. But somebody turns up and tries to kill Gregory. On the way to Hilltop, there's a lovely little scene where Rick just leans over and puts his hand on Michonne's leg. Such a simple little act, but it was so loving, and it was like a PDA. Everyone on the bus was like, what? And Michonne was like, mm-hmm. They make a deal to go and kill all the saviors in their sleep, and in exchange, Hilltop will begin trade with Alexandria. They'll start trading food and weapons and all that kind of lark. So when they all get to the sleeping saviors compound, they push inside, and Michonne keeps watch for Rick while he goes in and kills a few of the saviors. But then a fucking alarm goes off and Michonne, Darryl and Rick start trying to shoot their way out. They try to shoot everyone that they fucking come into contact with. They eventually succeed in killing most of the sleeping saviors and they get outside. They catch a fella that nearly ran away and they're like, haha, no. But then your one comes on the walkie-talkie and informs them that she has Carol and Maggie. But that's okay too because they get them back. And they all go back to Alexandria. There's another scene after this where Rick and Michonne wake up in bed together. Such a blissful scene, they're so happy. But like Michonne picks up an apple and starts eating an apple. Like as soon as she opens her eyes, she's leaning over for the fucking apple. Why? Who the fuck eats apples in the morning time? When I wake up in the morning, I'm more like, the sun is fucking bright. And then I check my phone. Like, my phone is fucking bright. And then I get up out of bed and I'm like, it's too early. She wakes up a happy camper. Starts eating an apple, shares it with Rick. If I tried to eat an apple in the morning, I'd choke. You gotta give your airways a while to wake up after you've woken up. Because you know when you've been asleep for a while, you wake up and you're all fucked up. Or is that just me? Then Darryl goes off looking for revenge on Dwight. Glenn, Rosita and Michonne all go after him. They get into a confrontation in the woods. Darryl's like, no, I'm not going back. I'm gonna go kill him. So Glenn is like, huh, fine. And he stomps away and then Michonne goes with Glenn. Glenn and Michonne get captured, Darryl and Rosita get captured, and we see Michonne and Glenn tied up in the woods. Darryl and Rosita then arrive on, and they're sneaking up, trying to free Michonne and Glenn. Michonne and Glenn then start making all these noises and they're freaking out. I was like, bitches, be quiet, like, they're gonna hear. But turns out they were trying to warn Darryl and Rosita that Dwight was approaching from the bushes. Dwight comes out of nowhere with his gun and he's all, hey. So the last that we see of Michonne, she's taken out of the back of the van and she's put in the lineup in front of Negan. Oh, that was a lot of information. So relationship-wise, I think one of her most important relationships that helped shape her as a human being would be the relationship she had with her ex-boyfriend. Again, not sure on his name, I think it's Mike. Obviously, she'd been dating this guy before the apocalypse. She had her little son, Andre. Things seemed fine, but then we find out that him and his friend got high and they were the reason that her kid got killed. I think this messed Michonne up in a lot of ways because not only did she lose her boyfriend and her son, but she also learned that if you love something, you can't trust anybody else to look after it. She'd made one simple mistake and she could never undo it or take it back or fix it. And then of course Mike and his buddy went on to become the pets. Another important relationship she had was with Andrea, I don't know how the fuck you pronounce her name. She found Andrea when she was weak and vulnerable and she helped her and she kept her alive, stayed with her. Then she got burnt by her when Andrea decided to go off inside with Philip. And then it all came full circle again when Michonne sat down and stayed with her as she was dying. That showed what kind of a person Michonne was, that she was so loving and so caring on the inside that she couldn't turn her back on Andrea. She could have easily gone, well, you got yourself into the situation, so... But she didn't. She stayed with her, she knelt down in front of her, and it was such a touching scene. Another very important relationship that Michonne had was the relationship that blossomed between herself and Carl. They sound so similar when I say them. Carl as in Rick's son. When Michonne first came to the prison and she started doing things with the group, Carl couldn't understand why she was there. Carl couldn't understand why Rick trusted her. Then Michonne started to talk to Carl. She helped him get the photograph of his family back. She told him about her past, about her son, about what happened, and I think that they just clicked so perfectly because he needed a mother and she needed a son. I think the scene with the claimed group was the defining moment of their relationship. You see her minding him and cradling him. And Carl up to this point had always been like, I got this, I'm fine. He'd always been so brooding and so like, I can handle myself. But in that moment we saw him collapse in Michonne's arms and he allowed her to comfort him, he allowed her to mind him. Of course, one of the most important relationships that she has is with Rick. It did not start off well. You know, in the beginning he wasn't going to let her into the prison, and then he did, and then he was going to give her over to the governor. He was all set for just fucking selling her out, but that didn't work out. And she slowly became closer to Rick. She kind of became almost like the female Daryl in Rick's eyes, because he trusted her with things. She would be the one to kind of lay cover or keep watch if he was doing something. He'd have no problem bringing her out on runs, he trusted her. And then eventually it developed into something else because they were both just ready. Nothing was forced. It's not like he made a move and she wasn't into it, or she made a move and he wasn't into it. When they looked at each other and they kissed, it was almost like they both just subconsciously agreed, like, we're ready for this. And I think that they want to have something that's pure, they want to have something that's good in a world full of fucked upness, full of hate and full of like death, that they've discovered something happy. So that is my little overview on Michonne, and by little I mean probably fucking half an hour long. You guys don't realise when I record these videos they're like 65 minutes long and I have to like edit them down to make them a reasonable length. I can't wait to see where Michonne's character goes as we move into season 7. I hope her and Rick both fucking survive and they're both okay and they get to be together. But a lot of people have been saying as well that the finale of season 6 was all about Rick's downfall, which it was. It was about watching Rick break. It was about seeing Rick realise that he messed up, seeing him come to terms with the fact that he was powerless. And the only thing to top all of that off would be if he was to lose somebody that he loved. In that case it would be Michonne or Carl. Now I don't see them killing Carl off, I'm just fucking praying that they don't kill Michonne. Now while I was editing this clip, another point popped into my head that I just did not want to leave out, so I had to set up the camera again and just get this point in. There's a scene with Beth and Michonne where the baby gets sick all over Beth. Judith gets sick all over Beth, and Beth is like, Michonne, take the baby, because she wants to go clean herself off. I mean, the girl has had walker guts all over her, you know, she's seen people die, but like baby puke is apparently her limit. So Michonne kind of rejects the baby. She's like, no. Eventually she does take Judith from Beth, and she seems really cautious with Judith at first, but then she kind of warms up to her, and then we see her cradling Judith close to her and kind of sniffing her head, and we see a motherly instinct come out in her. I thought this was kind of in parallel to the scene with Maggie, Judith and Beth. There's a very similar scene where Beth is tired or she has to change or something, so she asks Maggie to hold Judith, and Maggie doesn't want to, but eventually Maggie does. I think Maggie was afraid to hold Judith because of the future. Because Maggie had, I think she'd had the pregnancy scare at that stage, but it turned out she wasn't pregnant. Maggie was holding Judith thinking about what could be, that in the future she could have a baby, she could have a child, it could happen. Someday she'd be holding her own baby. But with Michonne, she didn't want to hold Judith because she had lost her baby, because of the past, because she had lost her baby. Her son had been killed previous to her meeting up with the group, previous to meeting up with Rick's group. So the scenes that involve Judith and Beth with Maggie and Michonne I thought were really interesting, and they were so parallel and opposite to each other, but so similar in the same way. Maggie was cautious to hold Judith because of the future, whereas Michonne was cautious to hold Judith because of the past. Anyway, I just wanted to add that in, back to editing. That is it for my character analysis, profile, development video on Michonne. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will talk to you all soon.